Hello, everyone, and welcome to Edu English 224. I'm Malal-English, and welcome to Pronunciation Tips. Today, as you can see, we are going to talk about word stress. What is word stress? In the English language, if you really want to sound natural, more natural, you should understand word stress and try to apply it. So, as a definition, word stress refers to emphasizing one syllable in a word more than the others. I repeat the definition, which is really important. Word stress refers to emphasizing one syllable in a word more than the others, which means if you have a word which has more than two syllables or from two syllables to more, there is one syllable that you should emphasize. There is one syllable that you should focus on, okay, more than the other syllables, okay? So that stressed syllable is pronounced louder, longer, and with a higher pitch, while the other syllables are weaker. What I mean here is when you have a word which has more than one syllable, there is one syllable to focus on, there is one syllable to emphasize. That one syllable has a strong pronunciation, and the other syllables have weak pronunciation. All right? So this is the definition. So let's move on to the next slide. All right, so we have 3 points here just to talk about a little bit the importance of word stress. Why word stress is important? First of all, word stress can help us with clear pronunciation. Because if you know the syllable, okay, that you should emphasize in the word, when you pronounce that word, you will have a clear pronunciation. So this means people will not struggle understanding what you mean, or they will not ask you many questions to repeat yourself, or what do you mean by this? All right. The second point, so word stress can help us avoid misunderstandings. Yeah, this is what I said earlier, because if you pronounce a word wrongly, sometimes there will be confusion. So when people are confused, they will not understand what you're saying. So they will keep repeating the same questions. Please, what do you mean? I didn't understand. I didn't get that well. And the last point, word stress can help us make our speech more natural. More natural. You know, when you apply word stress, okay, so you will feel, you will speak more natural. You know, what you're saying is going to be more natural. And it helps also with the accent reduction. Let's say like a French speaker or someone whose French is the first language. Okay, when they try to pronounce words respecting the word stress, they will sound more natural. Okay, and it's the same way for someone whose mother tongue is not English. All right. So let's move on to the next slide. All right. So we have some patterns here. So I'm going to explain this. It's really important. Please pay close attention. So we will consider these circles as syllables. So here we have just one circle. One circle, this one circle represents words which have only one syllable. And these two circles represent words that have two syllables. But here, as you can see, the first circle is bigger than the second one, which means you will have some words, okay, that have two syllables, you should focus on the first syllable. The first syllable will be strong or stronger, louder, with a higher pitch. And the second syllable will be weaker. You're not going to stress the second syllable. And there are some other words. The first syllable is weaker. The second syllable is the stressed. This is where you should, this is the syllable that you should stress. All right? So these circles will help us understand this. So this means that words which have only one syllable, you just pronounce the syllable correctly. All right? So all the words which have one syllable, the one syllable is stressed automatically. Okay? Now, but words which have two syllables, there are words where you should focus on the first syllable, you should stress the first syllable, and there are some other words where you should emphasize the second syllable. All right? So if you have understood this, we can move on to the next slide. All right, so now these we already talked about the basic rules. So basic rules of word stress. This is an example. Word stress, whether the word is a noun, a verb, an adjective, adverb, and so on and so forth. If the word has only one syllable, you just focus on that syllable. It is already stressed. Let's say cat. You hear the sound ah. Dog, you hear the sound O. Book, you hear the sound U. Rain, you hear the sound A. Diphthong. Man, you hear the sound A. Love, you hear the sound A, which means all these words we automatically stress the syllable. Okay? So which means these words are one syllable words. No problem. Okay? So let's move on. All right, now we have words which have two syllables. Now you should see here two syllables. Here we're going to talk about nouns and adjectives. The general rule, here we are talking about the general rule. The general rule. Talking about general rule means there are some exceptions to the general rule. But today we're going to focus on the general rule. Okay? I will be talking about the exceptions in the next video. All right? So, as you can see here, we have divided all the words in two syllables. So, as you can see, the pattern, so you have to focus on the first syllable, and then the second syllable is weaker. So we say table. As you see, you can say table, table. All right? You can consider these two circles as the two syllables. Table. Then we have teacher, teacher, which means we should focus on the first. Teacher, teacher, same rule. Present, 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 okay? Happy, this is an adjective. Happy, happy, happy. Better, it is an adjective, but the comparative adjective. Better, 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 okay? So the general rule says when you have a noun or an adjective which has two syllables, you should focus on the first syllable. This is the general rule, okay? So let's move on to the next slide. Now here you have syllables, okay, two syllables, okay? But now we are going to talk about verbs and some prepositions. Some verbs and some prepositions. To remind you, we are talking about the general rule here. We're applying the general rule. So now, here you can see the opposite. when you have a verb or a preposition, as the general rule says, we should focus on the second syllable. The second syllable, okay? So, and we have here relax, relax. And most of the time, if you see this symbol, like the E, this letter, if the E is not pronounced, or if the E is or has a weak sound, most of the time we replace it like with the E in the phonetics. E. So we say relax, relax. We should not say relax. No, relax. You see, relax. So we focus on the second syllable with a higher pitch, louder and stronger. Relax. And then we have the second word, which is also a verb, decide. Decide. You see, also here we say decide. So we focus on the second syllable. Decide. Decide. Then we have another verb here, which is present. You know, we see the same word as a noun, but here, as it is a verb, or as it is considered as a verb, we should focus on the second syllable. So we say present, 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 okay? So this is a preposition. So we say between, between. So we focus on the second syllable. Between, we do not say between, between. No, we say between. And the last word also is a preposition. So we say behind, behind, behind. So behind, behind. We do not say, or we should not say behind. No, behind. No, you say behind. You see, when you pronounce these words correctly, okay, respecting the rules, you will sound automatically natural. Automatically natural. All right? So say relax, decide, present, between, behind. All right? I hope that you have understood this short lesson. And next time, I think later on, you can just apply this, what you've learned, in order to help yourself have a natural pronunciation. And in general, you will have a good communication. All right? So if you found these tips interesting and important, please, I invite you to like and share. I think there are other people who really need this. There are other people who need to refine their English. So I say thank you and see you next time. Bye.